Welcome to the Local Feature Series. My name is Sean Larson, real estate broker, sharing information about our area for people who are already local and for people who are considering moving here and want to do a little bit of research. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and make sure the notifications are turned on so you receive notices about new videos we release. Again, my name is Sean Larson, real estate broker. Enjoy today's spotlight. Alrighty, it is bike ride day, and we are starting here at Smith Park and going to run all the way up to Concord Road where the YMCA, the WSM Tower, the library are. We're going to make a couple loops through Crocket Park as well. And one of the cool things about being a real estate broker working in Franklin, Brentwood, and Williamson County, and really all of Nashville, is sharing all the cool stuff to do. Because if we have somebody relocating, and sometimes even if somebody's local, they're not sure exactly what all the area offers. And so it's nice to be able to share some of that. And that actually helps them determine sometimes where to buy a home so that they're in the close proximity. So here at Smith Park, and by the way, be sure to go ahead and see the video on Smith Park that I did as well. But this is just a starting point for today's ride. This is a spontaneous bike ride. It just kind of came a spur of the moment. So the camera's not on a steady cam or anything like that. So yeah, you're going to see a little bit of shake. So just bear with me. But what this is going to do is it's going to show a lot of the bike path areas that a lot of people don't know exist or they've never traveled them. I would bet most of the people riding on Wilson Pike just to my right probably haven't even ridden this stretch, so they're not sure which neighborhoods it connects. And just for reference, this is the Brentwood bike path that is paved, and it's an extensive path that goes a lot of the ways through Brentwood. On our right, we have Ingleham Farms, which is a community, and then here at the stoplight, this is an intersection with Wilson Pike and Split Log Road. If you just travel Split Log Road, you have some of the major communities on the east side of 65 in Brentwood. You've got things like Tuscany Hills, Sonoma, Cromwell, Morgan Farms, Terramore, Glen Abbey, Allens Green. So all of that is right there, and this paved path goes to those neighborhoods as well. So you can literally start from your own neighborhood and travel all the way up to all these parks. You can go to Smith, you can go to Crocket Park, you can go up to the YMCA. I would guess, it's been a while since I've measured it on maps, but I think this route from Smith up to the YMCA, there's also a loop up there by the library. And then if you take about 2 passes also through Crocket Park, I think this is about a 14 or 15 mile ride. So it's a really nice little ride. You see the full scope of things. Just on the right here before we duck into the tunnel, you've got Ravenwood High School just to the right. So you can see that this path even helps people, just commuting to school. Some of the people can hop on their bikes and just ride to school. And yep, that's the train track that parallels Wilson Pike right there. I believe that's a CSX railroad there. Real nice Tennessee lane here. It's a super season to see it too. All the leaves are falling. So this is actually kind of a shared bike path, and then it's also a gated driveway for the residents and farm off to my left there. We're coming up on the Carriage Hills subdivision. It's going to be on the left. And again, if you just hopped over the right and hopped over Wilson Pike, you would be right there with Ravenwood High School. Some communities around that are going to be Oak Hall, and you've got Rain Tree Forest there as well. And further down the road, you've got the Preserve or the Reserve at Rain Tree as well, which at this time is a newer part of the community. Got new construction going on there. Quite often right here, you'll see people just waiting for trains with cameras and video cameras. You can see photographers and photography enthusiasts just kind of waiting for that opportunity for the train to come along. So just beyond that overpass, you would have the Oak Hall community. And if you continued further north, just a little bit, you would actually end up at the Witherspoon community as well, which is up toward Crocket Park. And just for reference, Crocket Park is the park in Brentwood where Brentwood shoots their July 4th fireworks. They've also got a concert series that runs through the summer. I believe it's one concert per month, or maybe it's one per week for a series of weeks. I'd have to check the details on that again. But I also have another video that takes a tour of Crocket Park. So if you're considering relocating to Brentwood and you want to know proximity to that park, check out that video as well, and it shows you all about the park. On this bike ride, I'll actually take 2 passes through Crocket Park as well. As you'll probably see as we travel the path here, it's a mixed-use path. It's everything from walkers, bikers. You've got people walking their dogs there. You'll also find, too, though, that they post that the trail is not intended for electric vehicles. And that includes scooters, the hoverboards, and even electric bikes. You'll probably see some electric bikes on the path, but that is not actually the intended use for the paths. As we climb this hill, we're coming up to the backside of a really, really nice community in Brentwood called Montclair. And that is on Moores Lane, and it is right across from a new community called Prim Farm. And at this time, construction is just about to begin in that community. But Montclair has been a well-established community, really nice drive through that community. They've got tree-lined streets there that make a beautiful lane as you drive through there. So they actually have their own connection point right here to the left. So if you were to continue left, you would come out in Montclair. And so it's really nice for them to just be able to quickly access this path here. With the path being immediately adjacent to Ravenwood High School, a lot of their track teams use the path for running, and I'm not sure if it's their cross-country course or what it is that utilizes the path, but quite often during the week you'll see runners, and I think we've got a group up ahead as well. When we do these videos, I often have to remind people that the nature of the wide-angle lens makes things look like you're going much faster than you actually are. It's very similar to if you're driving down the road in your car and you're looking out the window and it looks like one speed, but then if you look down immediately next to your door, it looks like a completely different speed. So this wide-angle camera is the same way, and for the tours like this, and then we also use it for neighborhood tours as well, and it tends to just make it look like you're going faster than you actually are. So just a point of reference on where we are, this part of the path is actually paralleling Wilson Pike. So we're going north on Wilson Pike between Split Log Road and Moores Lane. And so just around the corner here, we are going to come upon the historic school that is right there on Moores Lane. And they usually open that up, I think, about maybe once a month or so for people just to go in and explore and see what the historic building is like. Another thing Brentwood has done really well as part of the planning of this path is they offer plenty of facilities for people. So you have bathroom facilities at certain increments in the path, which makes it just extremely user-friendly for everybody. And then we have on the left, we have the old schoolhouse there. And again, that is on Moores Lane. If you cut across the lawn right there, you would immediately hit Moores Lane. And Moores Lane connects Wilson over to the Cool Springs area where the Galleria is. Another thing people ask about as they're researching our area is, what about this Cool Springs thing? What is that? Is that a city? Actually, it's not. It's just an area. Technically, Cool Springs is in Franklin. It came about when the Cool Springs area, or the Cool Springs Galleria, came about in the early 1990s. There was a historic home there, and we will actually see that in the Crocket Park video that I have. And what they did is they were looking for a home to kind of act as kind of like the landmark entrance of Crocket Park. And that was a home owned by several people over time, but at the time they were developing and making all the plans for the Galleria, that home became available. And so Brentwood came to an agreement with the owners to relocate the home, and that was called the Cool Springs House, and actually still is called the Cool Springs House. And so it is in Crocket Park. And the Cool Springs Galleria, which is our mall, kind of launched that becoming the Cool Springs area. Now it's just flourished with as much service and retail that you'd ever need. But it is part of Franklin. The Cool Springs area is just kind of a name that has kind of evolved. I would say for the most part, on the west side of 65 in the Cool Springs area, you're going to have more consumer goods. You're going to have the Galleria. You're going to have services. And then on the east side of 65, you're going to have probably more corporate type office and more office leasing space. You're going to have some services there that kind of support that, lunches and things like that. But a lot of the consumer goods are going to be on the west side of 65. But both of those are called the Cool Springs area. So we have come out on Wilson Pike here, and I believe this is probably the track team from Ravenwood, and we have come out to Wilson Pike. We just went under Moore's Lane when we ducked through that tunnel there. But this is Wilson. We're going north toward Crockett Road. Nice thing about this pathway too, especially as it ducks in and out of the woods, is you can just about ride it all seasons. The shade kind of gives you a little bit of a break from the sun, and once you start hitting the fall and winter, the temperatures of course drop. So it's pretty much an all-season path. Now, up there in the distance on the right, you'll actually see an intersection with Crockett Road. That takes you to Crockett Park. It also takes you over to communities like Governor's Club, Witherspoon. It's going to take you also to Woodland Middle School and also Crockett Elementary there. But we just ducked in the woods and followed the path here, and so we fell short of that intersection. So we're going to take an alternate route here, but we will still parallel Wilson Pike. So if you should be referencing it with a map or anything like that as you do your home searching, you'll kind of know about where we are. Just a big shout out to the city of Brentwood and their care for the parks. Even during the season like this when it's fall and a lot of the leaves are coming down and eventually, you get a storm and such, the path becomes covered. They are just awesome at keeping it cleared. You'll come out one day and there'll be leaves on it and the next day it's leaf free. They keep the limbs trimmed really well because some of the areas you cut through, have trees near the path, but they keep them trimmed real nicely for all the use. So kudos to Brentwood Parks Department for taking care of this path really well. I mentioned a little while ago that we're going to go through Crocket Park, and that's where Brentwood shoots their fireworks for the 4th of July. And that is actually in the amphitheater there. You know, they've got, well, they actually shoot them from a sports field adjacent to that, but they do have the amphitheater there where they hold those summer concerts. And just a heads up, if you should plan on attending the July 4th fireworks, they do shut down some of the streets at a certain time that day, because what they'll do is they'll reverse the streets and just make them all one way in order to dismiss everybody efficiently. So if you should ever plan on attending the Brentwood July 4th fireworks in Crocket Park, just plan accordingly to make sure that you enter the park kind of before the cutoff time, before they start shutting the streets down. They also have a lot of food trucks for the 4th, and all of the summer concerts there at the amphitheater. They also go ahead and make sure everybody's well fed for those and arrange enough food trucks and keep everybody nice and happy. So here we're coming to the intersection in the trail where if we go left, and we will just shortly, that will actually take you all the way up to Concord Road. We're going to take a right here, and we're going to duck into Crocket Park and just do a little bit of travel there, see some sports field. And again, if you want to check out the video that I have on Crocket Park, it'll show you more extensively about the park, about the amphitheater, the indoor soccer that's there, the sports fields outside. They've got tennis courts there. It's just an incredible park. So this connection point brings us out kind of in the furthest or deepest area of the park from the entrance on Crocket Road. And so just to the left, we'll probably see those when we come back by. Just to the left, you've got the tennis courts, and we're about to output here just where all the sports fields are. And we'll see it on another pass as well. But on the far left side, you've got that tree line. There's an entire another set of sports fields on the other side of the tree line. So even in the evenings, and especially on weekends, when it comes to soccer and football, you will see this place very, very well attended. I believe the number of sports fields in general is about 11, and I want to say the tennis courts, I believe they've got 7. So you can imagine how many people that'll support. And in the Crocket Park video I actually show you the parking involved here. And at times I think we're riding through the parking and it seems like it's not a park, but really just a parking lot. But you'd be amazed at how much support they need for all the people that attend here on a busy evening or weekend. The park also has multiple playgrounds. It's got several that are manufactured playgrounds, the type that, they build or establish for parks and mulch beds and things like that. But they also have a more extensive one that is up toward the backside of Woodland Middle School. And that's the type, where they construct them out of wood and it almost looks like a castle. Super, super playground. So when anybody's attending any of the events at Crocket Park, maybe the amphitheater, the summer concert series, and the kids either need a break or you get there early to set up seats and you just kind of need something to do for a short bit, that playground is the place to go. One of the manufactured playgrounds will be just up here on the right, and then even a little further from that, you've got a pavilion there that you can either just use on the fly, but if you are using it on the fly, you do yield to any reservations that are made for it, and you can usually do that through Brentwood's website. Further down this path, one thing that we'll see, maybe just a little bit of it because it is tucked in the trees there, is that this park also has either frisbee or disc golf. And so that is kind of on the other side of the park, and we're just now approaching that side of the park. It's kind of located up by the indoor soccer facility they have as well. So one of the paths, I believe, crosses the bike trail up here, so you don't see too much of it, but it's a really cool addition to the park. I mentioned that the path connects a lot of neighborhoods to pathway to the parks. It's amazing how far you can go in Brentwood just on one of these paths. So as soon as we round a corner or two, we're going to come across a bridge, and then you're going to see a connection point off to the right, and that connects the Indian Point neighborhood as well as a few others. Because one thing you're going to find about the neighborhood design here is that you can be driving in one neighborhood and actually just flow right into another one. The second one might have been developed and built out at a later year. So a lot of the neighborhoods actually connect. So in this access point, while it may access Indian Point, it also serves as an access point to everything that connected to that community. Now, every time I ride through this field, I just absolutely love it. And this is the fall right now. The light is always awesome. I'm not so sure a lot of people don't know this field is back here. I think it's probably one of the secret or underutilized parts of the entire park. And it is a little bit isolated with the tree lines wrapping all around, but it is just awesome every time to ride through here and just see the sunlight raking across the grass here. I mentioned that Brentwood was really good with facility placement for everybody. And so just at the end of this path, well, it's not the end, but actually as we just come out of this loop of the field, you're going to see another set of facilities as there was just down at the tennis court end. So they are just really, really efficient at setting up their pathways for proper use. So there you have the facilities, and they have drinking fountains, strategically placed through the parks, and some of the newer ones even have, the lower dishes set up for, dogs who also need a drink. So it's nice that Brentwood keeps up with the products that are available to make the parks even better. So we're riding along the first series of sports fields. And just as I mentioned a little while ago, beyond the tree line, same thing applies here. Just on beyond that tree line on the right, there's another set of sports fields. On that pathway that continues over to those sports fields, you have another connection point, and that will connect to the community called Concord Hunt. And that is closer to the intersection of Wilson Pike and Concord Road. Super nice community, great flowing streets, really nice community over there. So it's just another example of how well this pathway connects everybody to all the parks as well as other communities. Here you have another set of facilities. You got restrooms, I believe a concession stand, I believe opens up during prime sports seasons. Just behind there, you also have the tennis courts. And I believe that's about a 7 court setup there. And every time I visit this park, they are very popular. So apparently they are in great condition and perfectly located. It's pretty common to see wildlife on this walk or on this ride as well. It's not uncommon to come around a corner and you'll have deer standing almost right adjacent to the trail. And as long as you're kind to them, they're kind to you, and they usually don't run off, and they're just kind of observing all the humans going by. This was a project that some people introduced a number of years ago. We just passed one there. There are a few bike maintenance stations positioned there. There's one in Smith Park. There's one right there, and that includes things like a bicycle pump. They've got some of the most popular wrenches, and it also has kind of a rack to place your bike up on, so you can kind of work on it at kind of waist height or so. So everybody who comes down the path sure appreciates everybody who implemented that project. To the left there, we just passed another connection point. Like I said, we're back to connecting neighborhoods. So that one's going to go to neighborhoods like Crockett Hills and Crockett Cove. A few neighborhoods connect back there, but an awesome connection point right there, because that neighborhood would be closer to more the east side of 65 in the Cool Springs area. So that is a main connection point there, and allows all those neighborhoods to jump right on the pathway. A while ago, I mentioned how good Brentwood Parks was or is about, keeping the pathway up. We can have a storm come through and trees will be down, and you can come out just shortly after that, and you can tell that the trees have already been chainsawed and removed, and it is just awesome how well they take care of this pathway. That's a little Harpeth River just off to our left there. It kind of parallels the path a bit. More toward the YMCA, you're going to see some access points where kids and families will come out and play in the creek during the summer and float some boats. But that's kind of paralleling us just off of our left on this pathway. As we ride this part of the path, we're getting closer to what I keep referring to as Concord Road. And that's just a point of reference, because if somebody's watching this and thinking about relocating, that's going to kind of put a place on the map that you can refer to. So we are continuing to work our way toward Concord Road, where the YMCA and the Brentwood Library are. So off to the right, you still have Wilson Pike. We're pretty much still paralleling that a bit. On the left, through the trees and again over the little Harpeth River there, you're going to have a community called Brent Haven. And that's a pretty large neighborhood, and it's going to cover a lot of the area. We'll have a connection point up by the library that connects to that. And so just another connection point that really, really utilizes this plan so well. So here we're outputting where the YMCA is. Now, Brentwood used to have two YMCAs. There was this one, and then there was the one up in Maryland Farms, which is kind of north Brentwood, kind of on the border with Nashville. Now, this YMCA used to be substantially smaller. What you're looking at now is a brand new addition and expansion, upgrades, and everything to this YMCA. Right here where this parking lot is used to be soccer fields. So they kind of did some expansion in several different areas there. The YMCAs here are incredible. And I know the YMCAs vary a lot across the country, size of town, size of facilities. So when people are moving to this area and they're talking about joining a club, one of the things they consider joining is the YMCA. So you can tell it is quite a substantial facility here. You've got all the fitness, you've got pools, you've got skateboard park. It is just an incredible facility and just one-upped it now that they've expanded it. The one in Maryland Farms did, however, close because what they did is they went ahead and combined them as part of that expansion. Speaking of clubs, we also have, plenty of commercial fitness clubs as well. You've got the country clubs here in addition to those, but the YMCA is a popular one, and we also have Williamson County rec centers, and there are several of those throughout Williamson County, and those often will have a lot of the same things you're going to find in a commercial fitness center, so those are extremely popular as well. Here we're crossing over the Little Harpeth, and we've got a pavilion here, and this is, I believe this one's just called River Park. And so you've got the pavilion there that is open for your use. You've got basketball courts. You have another bathroom facility here. There on the right, you have the WSM Tower, which is just an iconic symbol around here. You can see that thing from what seems, this seems like forever miles away. It's just amazing how recognizable that is. Just across the street there, you've got the Brentwood Library, another extremely popular facility, incredible inside. The design is just amazing. We're going to cross over and continue on a bike loop that actually goes on the other side of the library. We'll just pass back in front of the library and then reverse course. Now that is Concord Road straight in front of us, not to our right, but straight in front of us. You're actually seeing that school bus there come to an intersection. If you were to go straight through it and cross over Concord Road, you have the new Brentwood Police Facility there. You also have the Heritage, which is a retirement community over there as well. So there's quite a bit up there. And then just surrounding the WSM Tower there, you just have fields there. But that tower is so recognizable. And so if people are coming to town and they come this way at all, that is a popular question of asking what exactly that tower is. I believe it was built back in the, I want to say about the 1930s or so. The Brentwood Library is really popular not only for families and kids, but also business people as well, because they've got some meeting rooms there that you can reserve. And so if you need an on-the-fly business meeting room, it's a great place to reserve one. I believe all you have to do is be a member of the library, and I believe you are able to just make those reservations. It's also a popular place for Brentwood City meetings. It's nice and centrally located. It's got large spaces, so they'll have meetings there. It's also a voting station as well. Just to the right there, we're not going to take that connection, but we're just going to make this loop. But had you gone to the right there, you come across a little bit of a park area, parking lot, and then you come to Lipscomb Elementary School, which is just near the intersection of I-65 and Concord Road. Very popular elementary school here, but it connects right with this park as well. Just to the right there, another neighborhood connection. That one, I believe, goes over to Brentwood, or excuse me, Brent Haven, I believe. So if you've made it this far through the video, you probably never imagined that you would watch somebody's bike ride, did you? But it's so cool to see the different areas of Brentwood. And like I said, a lot of locals don't even know that these paths either maybe exist or what they look like or all the areas they connect. And maybe if everybody knew, maybe they would be used even more than they are right now, because they do serve such a great connection facility in order to get from neighborhood to neighborhood and go into the library, the various parks. It is just a super setup. So here we're coming up to the Brentwood Library. That the right that we just passed there, that's actually just a loop that takes you behind the library. They've got some good reading areas. There's another neighborhood connection point back there, I believe. And so this just makes a large loop just in front of the library here. We're going to swing around here just so we can ride in front of the library, just so you can get a good look at what the front of that library looks like. This is also where they put up Brentwood City Christmas tree. They put it out on the lawn and usually have a small celebration that evening. Then just on the front side of the building, just here to the right, you have several large meeting rooms. So if Brentwood is having a city meeting for the public to attend, maybe they need to notify the public of something, maybe a zoning change or request, or they just want public feedback. This is a quite popular place for them to hold those. It's just easily accessible to everybody. Here you've got the drive-through book drop-off, which is really cool. And then along this section, you also have more meeting rooms. Sometimes those are used for tutoring, sometimes teaching, and then also include some of the meeting rooms that you can reserve. Well, at this point, we've pretty much arrived at the area where it's turnaround and kind of a reversal. It's pretty much just the ride back. So I have traveled from Smith Park all the way up to Concord Road at the library. We've gone through Crocket Park. So I'm going to go ahead and take the ride all the way back. I'm going to continue filming all the way back. But I'll just let you have a little silent ride on the way back, and you can just kind of take all that in. I think we've noted most of the things on the way up. But if you have any questions about the bike path or anything of the sort, by all means, just reach out and I'll be happy to answer those. Again, I am a real estate broker as well as a general contractor here in the Williamson County area. I work all areas, including Williamson County and Nashville and all of Middle Tennessee. So if you should find yourself needing real estate services, whether that just be a consultation or if you're looking to list a home to sell or buy in the area, or even if you're looking to go into new construction and you need someone to guide you through that, either with another builder or if you're seeking a builder, I can handle that for you as well. So if you can reach out, I will most certainly help out all I can. So enjoy your ride back to Smith Park, and I hope you have an absolutely super day. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's spotlight, and I hope there was some useful information in there for you. My name again is Sean Larson, real estate broker. If I can be of any assistance to you, no matter if you're local or if you're considering relocating, please reach out. I'd be happy to answer any questions and offer any assistance, no matter if it's about local information or if it's specific to real estate. Again, my name is Sean Larson, real estate broker. Be sure to subscribe and turn the notifications on for the channel because you wouldn't want to miss anything. Hope you have a super day.